Good morning everybody. Class 12 poem The Castle, written by Edwin Muir. So we know about the Castle poet, about the poem. Edwin Muir was born in 1887, 1959. Edwin Muir was a renowned Scottish poet, novelist, translator and critic. He was remembered for his vivid poetry. You know that this poet, from his initial stage, he had not written any poem. He started all his poetry writing in the old age, and that age experience had been revealed in the poem The Castle, which we are going to learn. First poem and chorus of the newly dead contains Murray's initial attempt. Later collections were The Castle, Variations on Time Theme, The Narrow Place, The Voyage and Other Poems, The Labyrinth and The Foot in Eden. So these were his last stage poems, and The Castle also one among them, and we are going to see this poem, The Castle. So I want to give the gist of the poem. The Castle, gist of the poem. The Castle sums up the unbelievable fall of the castle. The greatness and grandeur of the castle makes the downfall a miracle. Soldiers and their castle were strong enough to defeat the strongest foes. The supporting alleles were there to strengthen. However, the greed of the ward proclaims the defeat. The strength within was punctured by the wicked deed. Gold rules and destines the vanquish. The poem explains that simple thing, gold, which makes the downfall of the big castle, which is with the great soldiers, and broad and strong castle was there, but that was just fallen because of a small piece of a gold. So the soldiers were very proud that they have a strong and strengthened castle, and the soldiers were very brave and honest, but they feel that they were strong, but small piece of gold just makes them to fall the castle, the greatest castle. So that was been explained. Full poem is alleged. So the poet gives the inner meaning. He is given the theme in a hidden way. He had not told the far thing that which had been explained in the poem, but smartly hidden the meaning, because politically it will affect. So that such a figure of speech is called allegory. So the hidden meaning is given, and overall their meaning was different. So this full poem is an allegory poem, and here he says that the present political problems in poem as a view of a soldier. So we will see, as for the exams, we feel that this is a poem, and this poem, each line is important. This poem contains 6 stanzas and 5 lines, and each line we will see what it is, and it has its own figure of speech and meanings. First we will see the meaning and then go for figure of speech. All through that summer at ease we lay, and daily from the turret wall we watch the movers in the hay, and the enemies half a mile away. They seemed no threat to us at all. So this small 5 lines poem explains that here the meaning of turret is a place where we are having here. So you can see a place, and this place is a place where the soldiers will stay. So on the tower, the top of the castle, there will be a tower, and in that small place will be there. That place is called as turret. And these soldiers were hiding there and watching what is happening. Every morning their duty is to stand there or sit there and watch what is happening overall. And daily from the turret they will be watching. We watched the movers in the hay and the enemies half a mile. So they were watching the hay. When they saw the hay, the lawn, so there the people were just cutting and leveling the lawn, and that was very normal thing in everyday daily routine what is happening. So that had been explained by him. And the enemies half a mile away, they seemed no threat to us at all. So half a mile means 8 meters, and 800 meters. In that 800 meters is not far away, very near, but there was no threat in the soldiers because they were strong and honest and they have boldness to save their nation. So this first paragraph explains, Sansa explains you 5 lines. It was a summer season and they were very comfortable and they were very happy to live, and daily routines. They were daily going and sitting on the turret wall here in this place, and they'll be watching what is happening around. We watch the movers in the hay. What they will be watching? They will be watching the movers. Movers means people who cut the lawn and maintain their level. And the enemies were half a mile away, and half a mile away, 800 meters away, but there is no threat on the poem at all. So you can see figure of speech through that alliteration. We watched alliteration, they threat alliteration. So we will go for the next stanza. For what we thought had we to fear, with our arms and provenders load on load, our towering battlements tire on tire, and friendly alleles drawing near on every leafy summer road. So the poet tells, we will go for each line, for what we thought had we to fear. So that means they feel that they are very bold enough and there were people helping them. The neighboring soldiers were helping them and people were doing their work, and that shows that they were not having any fear at all. With our arms and powers. So arms means they are having a weapons. Arms means weapon, and provender means food. They have arms and provenders load and load. That is, they are having more than enough to provide, and they are safe, and the castle is there to save, and honest soldiers are there. So there is no fear for them to fight against the enemies. Our towering battlement. So towering battlement means where the place, in the place where they have holes and all to hide the rifle and keep their gun and rifles on the thing in the hole, and they will be ready to fight with the enemies. So tire and tire means over and over. That means they were having lot of soldiers and they were having lot of castles, place where they can keep their arms and sit comfortably and they can fire. And friendly alleles means neighboring people who are ready to help with their foes and soldiers. On every leafy summer road. So on every leafy summer road they have people, and that will be very helpful to them, and it is very clear that they can fight the armies, enemy armies, and they can safeguard their castle. So that was the second stanza which tells you. We will go for the next stanza. Our gates were strong, our walls were thick. So they have very proud about their castle because they have very great gates, and it is very strong, and the walls were very thick, so smooth so that nobody can climb it, and it is very high. So it is so high and nobody can climb it, no man could win. So here no human being can climb the castle and do it. A foothold means they are having a place where they are very comfortable and very position where they can keep, and no clever tricks. So opposite enemy people cannot create any tricks to catch their castle or fight against them and enter the castle. Could take us dead or quick. Quick means alive. So nobody knows whether they are alive or dead or any people is there in the castle on the turret. So only a bird could have got in. Only birds which is flying over the castle will be knowing that human being is alive or dead there in that place. So here you are clear with the third stanza. We will go for the fourth stanza. What could they offer us for a bait? What do you mean by bait? Bait means something is given to you when you are getting something. So for example, a bribe. So when you are not able to do any job, you will be bribing and you will be getting it. So here it is a rhetorical question. The poet puts that question here to make the lines very deep and explainable. So what could they offer us for a bait means he is saying that we are very honest, we are not expecting anything, they can't give anything and take our land or their castle. So they were very proud of their honor and honest, and so they were saying this question. Our captain was brave and we were true. There was a light private gate, so a little private gate, there was a little private gate. Our captain was brave. So here he says, the soldiers are very honest and the person is, captain is very brave. So there is no chance of losing their castle. There was a little private gate, but there was a place in that castle called Little Private Gate. Little private means a gate which is used for private persons to enter, and that gate is the gate which they call the wicket gate. So a little wicket gate. Wicket means small gate, wicked means evil one. So why it is small and why it is evil? So that small gate alone, honest soldier is not there, so it is called as wicked. That old soldier who stays there, the wizened warder, a old soldier, led them through. So here what he had made, he allowed the people to get enemies inside that, getting some bribe. So he is very old and it is a private gate, and in that gate he allowed the enemies, and because of that they faced lot of problem. So we will go for the next stanza. Oh, then our maze of tunneled stone grew thin and treacherous as air. The cause was lost without a groan, the famous citadel overthrown, and all its secret galleries bare. So here this fifth stanza tells you, oh, then our maze. Maze means the castle is made in such a way as a maze. So the way will be very confusing. You can't, once you enter, you will not come out. It will be a confusing place, that is called maze, and in that they were entering, they were having thought that the castle was having a maze tunnel, but the small wicket gate helped the people to enter. Grew thin and treacherous as air, the cause was lost without a groan, the famous citadel overthrown, and all its secret galleries bare. So here by getting a goal, somebody left in that small little wizard gate, and that wicket gate allowed a person inside. So with that, the whole castle had been lost by, and it had been conquered by the enemies, and after conquering, they were captured and they taken, looted all their things, treasure which they were having. So that had been explained in this place, and all its secret galleries bare means it had been looted, all their secret galleries were looted by the enemies, and it the castle lost its familiarity and it had been captured by enemy. So we will go for the next. How can this shameful tale be told? Again this is a rhetorical question the poet asks. How this thing will be happen? So many are honest, how it had happened? One little person, a old person in that little gate had taken gold, and because of that gold taken, and it was lost, the castle was lost. So I will maintain until my death, we could do nothing being sold, our only enemy was gold. So here he feels I will maintain until my death. So I will be honest, but the other person was not honest, and so many were honest. One old person who is not honest, because of him they lost the whole castle. It had been taken by the enemies and captured, and they looted all the things, and the poet feels for that, and he explains, our only enemy was gold, and we had no arms to fight with. So they had not fought with the enemies to lose their castle, but only a small little gold, the bribe which given by the enemies had been taken, and it was taken, and once for all the castle had been lost. So glossaries. So if you want, you can see turret wall means a small tower on top of a castle. Movers, people who trim grass and level the lawns. Provender means foot. Powering battlements means tall towers with opening to shoot the enemies. Tier means one above the other. Friendly allies means helpful or supporting nations or armed foes. Foothold means advantageous position. Quick means alive. bait means something intended to entice someone to do something. Wicked means evil or morally wrong. Wicket gate means a small gate. Wizened warder means an aged or old god. Maze, a winding, intricate, confusing path, treacherous, disloyal, groan, lament, cry. And citadel means a safe and strong fort. Overthrown means conquered or defeated. Maintain means believe. Bare means empty. The whole thing had been emptied. Arms means weapons. Private means personal. Galleries means long, narrow rooms, especially used a particular purpose. We go for the next. See, so long we explained the poem. Now you can see the poetic device or a figure of speech. We have a lot. One is simile and metaphor. This both are comparison. Simile means you will be comparing things, two things with as and like using. Metaphor is implied simile without as and like you will be comparing two things, then it is called as metaphor. So we have simile in this poem. Grew thin and treacherous as air. So as is used. So something, the loot things what had happened like air. So he is comparing that theft that had been happened like air. So as an air. So here it is simile, and metaphor is on every leafy summer road. On every leafy summer road we are not using as and like, but we are using the comparison with the two things, leafy road and normal road. It is a summer road he is saying, and it is with this leafy, how the summer's time the leaves all will be on the road. He is explaining like that and comparing. So it is called as metaphor. See, alliteration, you know, any repeating words, and the first stanza we saw so many words, and repeating words in the same pronunciation in the same line is called alliteration. And for example, all through that is the alliteration. Summer at ease we lay. So in this, alliteration is all through, T starts with 3 and that starts with the T. So this is called alliteration. Those two words were alliteration. We had rhetorical question, two rhetorical question in that. For example, what could they offer us for a bait? So that is also a figure of speech. And then we have full poem, we are having imagery. So when we have a line and it will be just giving an imagination to you, such lines are called imagery. The expression of one's meaning by using language that normally signifies the opposite. Typically for humorous or a pathetic effect is irony. So we have 4 or 5 ironies in this poem, and imagery, the whole poem has lot of imageries. Each line is a imagery. When you learn, you will be getting some imagination in your mind. For example, with our arms and provender load and load. So you just imagine a place where you are having lot of arms and lot of food. You can provide for 1 year for the soldiers, or 2 years, or 10 years. So just imagine how much food and arms they will be having. So that is called imagery and irony. So allegory is a thing. It is also figure of speech. This poem is an allegory. An allegory is a complete narrative that involves characters and events that stand for an abstract idea or event. In other words, a story, poem, or a picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one. The poem, The Castle, it is a poem involves imaginary incidents. So that time what political things happened and how they lost their nation, that had been explained very clearly by the poem, and so it is called as an allegory. Rhyming words, the similarity of the sounds in the words that the end of each line of the verse is called rhyming. So for example, lay, hay, wall, all, lay, hay, away. So these 3 words are alliteration, rhyming words, and wall and hall is a rhyming words. And what is the rhyming scheme of this? Rhyming scheme means here it has all, lay and hay is AA, and away is also A. So you are making wall and hall, BB you are giving. So the rhyming scheme of this poem is AB, AAB. So the rhyming scheme of this poem is AB, AAB. Thank you, children.